Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania 2024, which will be staged from 2nd to 30th August 2025. Amongst the 4 groups in the tournament A to D, Kenya is pooled in Group A, together with Morocco, Angola, DR Congo and Zambia.
Algeria from the set piece, the header is on target, but it's saved.
This unique competition featuring the best locally based players from across the continent definitely has something for everyone. Just bring your A game as you let it flow live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Morocco.
Feel the pulse of a continent where Africa's fiercest women warriors clash for glory in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations 2024. Africa's top teams, one crown. Morocco hosts once more, ready to etch new legends into history. Rising stars, one stage to shine.
And it is the Copper Queen. They have been waiting for this moment. Here's a chance for a second. South African lead by 2-0 in this final, and he'll never higher.
This is more than football. It's African excellence. It's women's power. Don't miss WAFCON 2024. Live from Morocco.
Live from Broadcasting House, Nairobi, Kenya. This is KBC English Service.
Welcome to Beat Time Show, the very best of the 80s and 90s with John Karani, JK.
Timeless music hits across the decades.
This is the place to be after you've had a tough day. Here we celebrate love and life.
Don't believe me, just watch.
The sound of KBC English Service.
I'm your host Caroline Wangishi, Karo Gatata Mashero.
My name is Geoffrey Mongai B.
News, information and entertainment. KBC English Service, Kenya's official national radio.
Lunchtime News begins right now. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to KBC Lunchtime News. My name is Bentro Njue. The lovely lady on the bottom of your screen is Susan Thuku, who will handle the sign language interpretation. Time for a comprehensive look at the headlines shaping up the news conversation in the country at this moment. We begin our live coverage all the way from Spain, where President William Ruto has called for the sustainers of the momentum on the Pact for Prosperity, People and Planet, commonly referred to as the 4P, to oversee the institution of bold reforms in the international financial system. Ruto says adherence to the pact will also see the world embrace innovative approaches to development financing.
Speaking at the 4P high-level meeting at the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development in Sevilla, Spain, The head of state lauded the Pact for Prosperity, People and Planet, known as the 4P, as a driver for reforms that integrate development and climate action into a single coherent agenda.
Negotiating an outcome document like the Seville Commitment requires significant effort, yet without a framework for implementation, that effort risks being in vain. I am optimistic that the SPA will help governments fast-track the FDA outcome.
The president, while calling for the speeding up of the implementation of the pact, said that countries no longer have to choose between ending poverty and protecting the planet.
This document that we have negotiated, and today we have it as the Severe Commitment, is a document that is implementable. And that is why we are willing to share our experiences, and we are also willing to learn from others.
Ruto, however, warned against trivializing the pact by making it a contest between the global south and north.
Today we have common ground by both the people living in the global north and global south on reform of the financial institution. It is no longer a matter of those of us from developing countries. I see many, in fact, everybody who spoke today in this forum spoke about the need to reform the international financial architecture.
I think it's feasible to make hand in hand together a common agenda. But as long as you will have people in Europe and North America saying, these people in the south are my main problem, I don't want them, they are just migrants. Or people from the south saying, in the north, you have my main problem, this is cynicism, wealthy people and a post-colonial approach, we have no chance to deliver a global agenda.
The president is later expected in the United Kingdom to join the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer for the signing of the Kenya-UK Strategic Partnership. John Jacob Curia, Lunchtime News.
Back home, residents of Nomotio in Samburu, West Samburu County have raised a red flag over the alleged grabbing of a community land set aside for the construction of a dispensary. The resident claimed that the said piece of land was grabbed by some county employees, subsequently calling on the county government to take action and ensure justice for the locals.
Residents of Nomotio in Samburu West marched to the Samburu County government offices in protest of what they allege a land grabbing syndicate by a section of county government employees.
Kasha tukijua ya kuwa takuja baadaye kutusaidia sisi kama wakaaji wa Nomotio kujenga hospitali. Sasa wakati tuliketi chini na kuchanga pesa ya kufence, kuna wazee walijitokeza, wamesema wameuziwa.
Vijana ambao wamesoma pale wamepitia changamoto, wamechinyima mpaka hiyo wakachitolea na hiyo shamba, wakanunua, wakachinyima mpaka wakatoa pesa, wakachanga.
The residents who met with the county executive committee member for lands, England Losenge, called on the county government to clarify the validity of the certificates owned by the alleged land grabbers.
Tulipotengeneza fence ya shule tukaona washa tu fence pia mpaka na ile land ambayo ni yetu, ambayo ni ya community. Kwa sababu sisi ndio tumetoa pesa ya kushanga ya fence hiyo shule, tukasema pia hata hiyo land bado ni yetu, tutafence pamoja na shule.
Ikikaa idle hivyo, kuna pia wengine wanaweza kuja wanyakue. So tunaomba Lati aingilie kati, atusaidie na tujenge dispensary.
Losenge, however, promised to make effort and find a solution to the disputed land, calling on residents to remain calm.
Na pia kuna wenzetu wana claim pia hiyo shamba ni yao. Lakini tumekaa na wao kidogo kwa ofisi, tumesikiza hawa na tumeagree pia tusikize wenye wana claim shamba ni yao, ambayo ni watu wawili, ambayo ni wafanyikazi bado wa county government. Alafu tukielewana nao formally peana hiyo shamba kwa community waweze kutumia kwa county government wajenge dispensary.
Martini Maslin for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, Kilifi County Assembly Speaker Teddy Mwambire has been formally impeached by the county's ward representatives. This is after 40 out of 50 members of County Assembly voted in favor of the motion to remove Mwambire on allegations of abuse of office, among others. Majority Leader Ibrahim Abdi, who spoke after the impeachment, dismissed claims that the impeachment had been influenced by a top county official. He said that the MCAs followed due course.
Tumeondoshwa mzigo mkubwa sana, mzigo ambao ulikuwa unatusumbua sana kisheria hata kisiasa. Hata kisiasa tuliona spika yetu pia alikuwa ameanza kuingiza mambo ya siasa ndani, na hapa kujue ni kwamba hapa ni mipangilio ya kisheria.
Moving on, a man has been apprehended by police after he was found in possession of a pistol and 10 rounds of ammunition believed to have been stolen at the Dagoretti police station in Kikuyu sub-county during the June 25th protest. The recovery of the pistol brings to 3 out of 5 guns recovered so far. Kiambu County Police Commander Doris Kemei says they will leave no stone unturned in ensuring all stolen guns are recovered, even as she appealed to the members of public to volunteer information that will lead to the successful recovery of all stolen weapons.
We've also been able to recover 10 live ammunitions, but at the time of stealing, it held 15 rounds. We have one suspect with us who was actually in possession of this firearm, and he has confirmed to having fired 5 rounds. Where he fired the 5 rounds, we have no idea. To the ones who are having the remaining 2 firearms, I want to tell them without any fear of contradiction that we are coming for them.
Elsewhere, a group of boda operators in Sitiho Ward, Webuye West, have voiced their frustrations over the deteriorating road network in the area. Led by Sitiho Ward boda chairperson Enoch Wafula, the riders have issued a 3-day ultimatum to local leaders to address the issue or else block the road. The group further expressed their anger, stating that the current state of the roads hinder their operations, especially during the rainy season.
Ile muta yenye umepikiwa kura na hao watu wa Sitiho. Jai andamana kama bodaboda. Sasa raundi hii barabara ni mbaya. Ukitoka Kuywa, ukienda Kuywa mpaka lazima utaivadi hiyo barabara ya kuenda kwa shule, uende mpaka Sikalame.
Na wake tunabebana nao kwa wako mjamzito huku, lakini tunaangusha watu, mapikipiki zimekataa, pikipiki zetu saloni zinaumia. Sasa hatuna vile tunafanya. Sasa tunaomba mheshimiwa kama anatuona kuja atusaidie, sisi hatuna ubaya na yeye.
26 additional garbage skips and a skip loading truck have been distributed in towns and trading centers in Kirinyaga County. The project, led by the Kirinyaga County government under the financing locally led Climate Action FLOCA program, aims to boost waste management and community well-being. Speaking during the distribution exercise, Kirinyaga County Governor Anne Waiguru noted that the initiative also aims to boost waste collection for material recovery facility being set up in Kutus, adding that the rising population expansion of towns, increased number of businesses has contributed to the increased residential and commercial waste in the region. The initiative has been welcomed by the residents.
Tunasumbuliwa sana na hii takataka ikiwa hapa. Wakati inatolewa, tunasumbuliwa na hiyo hewa kabisa. Sasa tumeshukuru juu ya kutuletea mali ya kuweka usafi.
Tumekuwa na shida sana, kona zinaenda na upepo, zinawaka na maji na magika mvua ikinyesha, na pia kuna miraa ni shida. Tumefurahi sana.
Hiyo itatusaidia. Kuna program ambayo tunaendelea tukisoma, tukijipanga, ambayo tunaita Material Recovery Facility, lakini sisi tukifika huko lazima tuwe tumeweka haya mapipa eneo zote za Kirinyaga.
Moving on, the coordinator for Peace Building Project, Fred Odera, has urged youth to maintain peace and fully participate in various development projects to bring about positive change in the community. Speaking during an entrepreneurship training session for youth organized by the private organization Lunga Lunga Youth CBO in partnership with the Ministry of Youth in Lunga Lunga, Kwale County, Odera encouraged youth to be agents of change as they have a unique opportunity if they step up and participate in targeted projects.
Zinakumba vijana kwa nafasi ya kubwa sana, lakini ni sisi vijana ambao tuna uwezo mkubwa wa kuzibadili hizi changamoto ziwe ni nafasi nzuri ambazo tunaweza zisoma na tuwe na uwezo wa kujiendeleza kimaisha. Nimeona vijana wamejitokeza kwa wingi na wanafurahia kwamba mradi unawafikia directly.
Vijana kama 5 wameweza kusaidika kupata loans, wengine wako on the way bado, wako kwenye process ya kupata loans, wengine bodaboda, wengine pia wamelinkiwa na hii kazi majuu na kutoka na hii kikundi chetu cha LYCBO na wanasaidiwa kuprocess documents zao.
From the sandy beaches of the coast to Kisii, where 150 youth in Kisii have graduated from a digital skills training program spearheaded by Huawei to empower them for the rapidly changing global environment. Presiding over a graduation ceremony at Mokubo in Bomachoge Borabu, the company's director, Yuta Leng, said the one-month training equips the youth with skills to market their product and earn a living. TVET Secretary Joseph Njue noted that the skills provided focus on modern technological demands, including artificial intelligence, AI, and e-commerce. Beneficiaries said the skills will help them register with Ajira, handle online businesses, and educate their communities on data and digital skills.
Sikuwa na skills za computer, najua ilikuwa free, nikaona wacha ni join, ni gain at least something yenye itanisaidia. Gain online skills, saizi naweza fanya kazi online.
The digital literacy is very important in Kenya, especially we see the digital gap between the rural area and the city. So that's why we launched this digital initiative to train the students the basic technologies, basic 5G, AI technologies, and we want the students to use these technologies to make it into daily use.
Now, a police officer had a hard time explaining to a Mombasa law court why he investigated a cybercrime offense while being attached to the anti-terror police unit, that is the ATPU. Police Constable Frederick Mushiri, attached to the Coast Regional Anti-Terror Sub-County Unit, appeared before Mombasa resident Magistrate David Odhiambo to testify against Matilda Kizani, who is involved in a defamation case. Take a look.
Police Constable Frederick Mushiri, in his own testimony, informed the court that he was trained to carry out investigations under the Counter-Terrorism Act and was not trained nor well-versed in cybercrime investigations, a task that was handed over to him by his immediate boss. Mushiri stated that he was informed by the complainant, namely Abubakar Joho, that he had received the social media post allegedly made by Kinzani from Kenya Railways and Corporation Managing Director Philip Mainga, informing him that there was a defamation post made on social media by the suspect. The defense counsel Michael Olo cross-examined the officer to determine the author, since preliminary investigations could not establish the person. Mushiri in his testimony further stated that, contrary to what Joe had informed the court, the social media post was made by Kinzani was as a result of business rivalry between him and the owner of Balstream, namely Mohammed Jafar, whom he did not inform in his statement to police about the business rivalry. Michael Mondiga for Lunchtime News.
Moving on, the County Assembly of Kericho has approved a budget of 10.03 billion shillings for the financial year 2025-2026, which marks the highest amount approved in the county since the start of devolution. Kericho County Assembly Budget and Appropriation Committee Chairman Albert Kipkoech said in the current financial year, the wage bill has been reduced from 51% to 47%, assuring the residents of a plan in place, to reduce the high wage bill.
Kwa mara ya kwanza this time round tumereduce wage bill kidogo, tumekuanga 51% na saizi tuko 47%, so tumereduce by 4% na tunatia bidii ku make sure ya kwamba kwenda mbele tuna reduce hiyo gap ya wage bill, alafu ituwezeshe tuajiri watu wetu.
Now, the Council of Imams and Preachers of Kenya has appealed to protest organizers to conduct peaceful demonstrations, urging restraint from both demonstrators and law enforcement officers. This as the preachers faulted the Interior Cabinet Secretary for the shoot-to-kill directive, which he has since recanted. Led by their chair, Sheikh Abdallah Ateka, the clerics proposed a religious leaders-led mediated dialogue with Gen Z protesters to avoid further loss of life and property. They also urged peaceful Sabasaba demonstrations and warned politicians against hijacking youth-led protests for personal gain.
Murkomen, ikiwa itawezekana apetiwe wizara nyingine. Wizara ya ulinzi imemshinda na kila Mkenya ajua halo imemshinda. Kwa hivyo serikali ina nafasi kubwa, wizara ni nyingi, apewe wizara nyingine.
Nani mwenye akili timamu atunga mkono sema kwamba piga mtu risasi huwa? Hiyo ni mambo ambayo waziri kama huyo na ni kiongozi anasema tena mbele ya watu ya kamera, alafu anasema kwamba alielekea kwa njia mbaya. Alielekea kwa njia mbaya kivipi?
Tunawauliza Wakenya kwa busara na kwa unyenyekevu, tuendelee kuumia kwa kwamba Article 37 imeruhusu watu wafanye maandamano, tena imeweka wazi maandamano ya mtu asiyekuwa na silaha na maandamano ya amani.
Still at the coast, a section of human rights defenders in Kilifi County have called on the government to resume the school sanitary distribution program, which was allegedly halted. Speaking during a reproductive health sensitization forum in Kilifi, the lobby group said poverty is still rampant in the region, and the ceasing of the program has led to rising cases of gender-based challenges among the teenage girls. They have also appealed to the government to put in place stringent laws to bring the
kama serikali inasikia, if possible, hii program yenye ilikuwa inafanyika ya sanitary towels kupelekwa kule shule, basi hii program irudi tena, na pia tutafuta way yenye sustain hii program.
Washa Festival ilikuwa inawaleta pamoja so that they can be able to share their experiences. There are some who have undergone violence, but they didn't take it as a fear. They took it as a challenge, and they were able to come out as winners.
For our next story, we cross over to the Kenya National Union of Teachers headquarters, where they are negotiating in regards to their collective bargaining agreement, CBA. Let's cross over and get more.
He understood it better. And again, as a spokesman of this great union, I know he is leading with the report, Secretary General.
Thank you very much, National Chairman, members of the National Steering, members of the Fourth Estate. I want to say that you're most welcome for this press briefing based on what we've come up with from Teachers Service Commission. Very quickly, National Chairman, allow me to introduce the team that is here of Kenya National Union of Teachers to members of the Fourth Estate, so that outside there, those you represent, that is the members of the National Steering, those you represent will get to know that we all participated in this very important exercise that was there this morning, which I'm going to elaborate what took place. Executive Council members, executive officers, can you put up your hands? We have a technical team. My colleagues manning the technical bench of the Kenya National Union of Teachers are the executive officers employed here. Machio, Oseno, and Alice. I saw Bal around. Members of the National Steering, allow me to start with the National Chairman, Patrick Karinga Munuhe, the National Treasurer, James Muondiku, Deputy Secretary General Hesbon Otieno, the First Vice National Chairman, Malel Langat, the Deputy National Treasurer, Kennedy Ondieki Nyamwanda, Assistant Secretary General, Rosalia Mkanjala, the Assistant National Treasurer, Kula Mohammed Sheikh, and lastly, we have Namisi, not lastly, I have two ladies to introduce. Agri Namisi, the second Vice National Chair. The first National Women Rep is Mercy Kiambati, and the second National Woman Representative is Mercy Ndungu. Yes, National Chairman, this is a very important day for the Kenya National Union of Teachers and teachers of this republic at large. We received a communication from Teachers Service Commission on the 24th of June, indicating that today, NAT and Teachers Service Commission was to sit to deliberate on the CBA. You'll agree with me that what is in the lips of teachers for the last 3 months is about the CBA. And more so based on the fact that 2021-2025 CBA was a cashless CBA. So teachers have been waiting. We did our part as a union and prepared a memorandum to Teachers Service Commission as required by law. So we presented this memorandum, and those are the proposals from Kenya National Union of Teachers, which of course was consumed by the Commission fully. The next step by the Commission was to present the same to the Salaries and Remunerations Commission, SRC, for an advisory. They did that. So when we saw the communication from Teacher Service Commission last week, you were at peace. So we prepared for today. We prepared to the teeth. And the dressing you're seeing here today is not a usual dressing for most of us. We did our Sunday best to appear before the Commission. You know much as I do that any other trade union, and for this matter, Kenya National Union of Teachers stands in for the terms and conditions of service for our members. So this was a D-Day for us. And what are teachers saying? We wish you well. Please have your eyes on the ball. Don't miss it like last time. And I want to tell you, members of the Fourth Estate, we were prepared to receive the counter offer from Teachers Service Commission, because that is a procedure. We place a memorandum, let them escalate it to SRC, so that they get what we call an advisory from SRC. An advisory which shall form what we call a counter offer from Teachers Service Commission. To our surprise, Teachers Service Commission was not prepared. Teachers Service Commission was not prepared. And I want to tell teachers in this republic that we have done our part. We could not enter into anything less than what we demanded for. Basically, a CBA has a monetary component. A CBA has non-monetary component.
Very well, that has been the Secretary General for the Kenya National Union of Teachers, or if you like, NAT, that is Collins Oyu. They're addressing the press in regards to their collective bargaining agreement. What is happening is that the teachers, the 2021-2025 collective bargaining agreement is now done. They are negotiating for a new deal with the employer, that is the Teacher Service Commission, and also the union KUPPET is also doing the same. The negotiations begin today. We'll be keeping you updated in regards to that. But let's take a quick break. But when we come back in business, I'll be telling you why you have 5 more days to file your returns. And in sports, Manchester City is out of the FIFA Club World Cup.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Cup of Nations, Morocco.
Feel the pulse of a continent, where Africa's fiercest women warriors clash for glory in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations 2024. Africa's top teams, one crown. Morocco hosts once more, ready to etch new legends into history. Rising stars, one stage to shine.
And it is the Copper Queen. They have been waiting for this moment. Here's a chance for a second. South African lead by 2-0 in this final, and he'll never higher.
This is more than football, it's African excellence. It's women's power. Don't miss WAFCON 2024, live from Morocco.
Welcome back to Lunchtime News. Many thanks indeed for keeping it Channel 1. Moving on, Health Cabinet Secretary Aidan Duale has faulted a section of politicians he says are inciting the youth to cause violence and disrupt stability in the country. Speaking in Kajiado, Duale said there is no shortcut to power and urged those funding chaos in Kenya to wait for the 2027 general elections.
Health Cabinet Secretary Aidan Duale has joined the growing list of leaders who have condemned the violence witnessed during the recent protest, faulting a section of politicians who they say have mastered the art of inciting the youth to cause mayhem. Duale has urged the leaders eyeing at the presidency to be patient and wait for the right time. He has called for unity among communities in Kenya ahead of the next polls.
Kama uko na shida, hakuna shortcut. By the way, there is no shortcut in the constitution of Kenya. Usidanganywe, wewe ujipange vile sisi tulijipanga wakati tulikuwa tunapambana na kina Lengo. Sisi tulikuwa raia, mimi na Ruto.
Meanwhile, Chief Magistrate of Bungoma Law Courts has declined an application by the prosecution seeking to have the suspect of the 25th June 2025 detained for 14 days to allow the DCI to carry out further investigation. The suspect were released on a bond of 50,000 or similar surety or cash bail of 20,000 each and ordered to report to the Director of Criminal Investigation every Monday to help in the investigations.
Instead of charging these young men, the state went on a fishing expedition, asking the court to grant them 14 days to hold the suspects on very weak and flimsy grounds, alleging that the young men who were arrested would interfere with the witnesses. The state, through the prosecution, did not tender any evidence or even purport to tender any evidence that would warrant continued detention of the accused persons.
Aaron Marie for Lunchtime News.
Now, taxpayers have an extra 5 days until Saturday, the 5th July 2025 to file their tax returns after the Kenya Revenue Authority KRA announced an extension. The taxman also announced a waiver of all late penalties on condition that the returns are filed by July the 5th. And in a major win for motor vehicle importers and dealers, the Kisumu High Court has temporarily suspended the implementation of the Kenya Revenue Authority's new tax on motor vehicles pending the hearing and determination of a petition against it. The updated current retail selling price was set to take effect on the 1st of July 2025. Justice Joe Omido issued an order following A petition filed by Elizabeth Akinyi against the Kenya Revenue Authority KRA, the Attorney General and other parties. The petition challenged the legality and timing of the revised CRSP guidelines. The court, while certifying the matter urgent, directed that the implementation of the CRSP updates as outlined in KRA circular dated 22nd May 2025 and the public notice issued on 30th of May 2025 be stayed until 17th of July 2025 when the matter will be heard by inter-parties. And so to some tech now, adoption of artificial intelligence AI is becoming critical for Kenya's construction sector to meet quality, climate and cost demands. Public Works Principal Secretary Joel Amuroyang says innovation in the construction industry is key, affirming that the government will continue partnering with private sector innovators to integrate advanced technologies into the ongoing affordable housing program.
Plagued by recurrent structural failures, substandard materials, and the increasing unpredictability of weather patterns, construction industry stakeholders are calling for more data-driven approach to how buildings are built and maintained.
Cheap is not actually cheap. So even if on a per litre basis, this product can be expensive, but when you're looking at a product that's going to last you 10, 15 years, 20 years, against protection, in protection against heavy rain, high humidity. Paint inside should last you ages. The paint outside should last you many, many years. And that is why we also have had our share of that market in affordable housing as well.
We are encouraged by the innovation in the private sector. This product will also be part and parcel of a product range that the government, through the partnership we have, that will be utilized by the affordable housing program and other programs.
But alongside technical innovation, there is a growing alarm over the prevalence of counterfeit construction materials that continue to jeopardize both public safety and public investments.
What we as a manufacturer would request and would urge all our consumers to do is do buy your products from the right kind of suppliers, the right kind of outlets, the reputable outlets out there.
The government have held a number of conversations with regulatory authorities to revitalize and ensure that they seal loopholes. Kenyans need quality service, they need value for money, and we are not ready to entertain the counterfeiting.
Paintmaker Basco launched its Aquatech rain-shield innovation, which utilizes artificial intelligence to predict weather-driven performance needs and align product aesthetics with consumer trends while optimizing environmental sustainability. Trevor Ngendo for Lunchtime News.
Moving on, cotton farmers in Busia County are set to benefit from a cotton seed milling machine at Mulwanda Ginnery in Funyula. The machine, by the Agriculture and Food Authority, AFA, is expected to boost value addition in the cotton sector. Farmers have been encouraged to join cooperatives to reap more from cotton farming. AFA is also calling upon cooperatives to operate within legal frameworks and avoid internal conflicts that have previously hindered progress in the sector.
Tunashirikiana tukiwa na wakulima na mashirika SACCOS kwamba wanaweza kupata ile zao linakuja direct kutumia hizo SACCOS, because SACCOS are helping us in marketing, in collection, so that you do not have to rely on another middle person or another broker who again is going to have an additional charge on this, which actually eats into the profits of the farmer. So for us is to encourage the farmers to work through cooperatives and actually work very closely with the State Department for Cooperatives to achieve this. Similarly, also working with the county governments again to ensure that farmers are supported.
The involvement of the youth in agriculture here in West Busia and Funyula constituency in general is very low. Musikae kando, musikatae kufanya mambo ya kulima, mukachia wazee wazee ndio watakula pesa yaliyopangwa.
Now, players in the real estate industry are leveraging partnership with financial institutions towards supporting sustainable practices across all value chain actors in the built environment. Kenya Green Building Society CEO Nasra Nada says that though collaboration property developers will adopt measurable sustainability practices that reduce their environmental impact and align with global climate action goals. So benefit from training.
The first and Green Expo 2025, where we'll be showcasing sustainability in action. So it's going to run for 3 years, and we're hoping within that 3-year period, we'll be able to enhance market acceleration so that there's sustainable finance with KBS being the built environment player, and of course, KCB as the financial player. The sky's the limit. Through the partnership, we'll have about 20 of our staff who will be age certified. Working together with Kenya Green Building Society and IFC, we will work towards training our staff, the ones who are the front, who have discussions with the developers, so that these conversations about sustainability, about climate change can start right from design.
Elsewhere, the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa is set to commercialize biofortified Nyota beans in Kenya. Agra Commercialization Officer Sami Okita says the high iron, protein and zinc biofortified beans will be commercialized in an initial 5 counties in a bid to boost nutrition and promote agribusiness.
Bean production increased by 4.2% to 10 million bags last year, with prices for the commodity decreasing 13% to 149 shillings per kilo. Players in the bean value chain say the price drop was due to the poor quality of the beans, despite the high demand. The Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization has developed a high-yielding biofortified bean variety that is high in iron, protein, and zinc content. Cereal Growers Association is set to commercialize and promote growing of biofortified Nyota bean variety in Embu, Tharaka Nithi, Elgeyo Marakwet, Narok, and Bomet.
Kenya tuko sehemu 5. Embu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Narok na Bomet. Hapo ndio project iko.
Nyota beans ni baina ya maharagwe ambayo iko na madini ambayo inaitwa high iron, yani iron. Na kama ujuavyo, tuko na shida kubwa sana ya malnutrition hasa kwa watoto.
In measures aimed at strengthening biofortified bean market linkages, the association is in talks with schools to prioritize purchasing fortified beans for their school feeding programs.
Tunafurahia kwamba nutrition wise tunainua watoto pia wanafunzi. Na pia wakulima tunawatafutia soko. Kumaanisha kwamba wale wakulima wako sehemu ya shule tunawawezesha kwamba wanaweza kuuza marage kwa shule.
The bean is drought tolerant and early maturing, making them suitable for cultivation in various ecological zones and assisting farmers adapt to climate change.
CGA inafanya kazi na wakulima 3,500 hapa Embu. Hawa wakulima 3,500 wanasaidiwa na CGA na input ama na mbegu za kupanda.
The highly nutritious Nyota variety is also being rolled out in Malawi and Tanzania. Benson Rioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
A standoff is brewing in Kiambu County between real estate developers and the county government over a proposed policy on land development and management. Developers under the Association of Real Estate Stakeholders, ARESA, petitioned the County Assembly Planning and Urbanization Committee calling for the suspension of the new zoning and planning guidelines, citing lack of stakeholder engagement.
Tempers flared as members of the Association of Real Estate Stakeholders met the Kiambu County Assembly Committee on Planning and Urbanization for a consultative forum in Thika.
Real estate is one of the key sectors that is really driving the economy of Kiambu. So we came here to discuss with the committee that is very much directly influencing our industry, and to really just ask them why they are allowing some of the laws to pass that are going to affect how we do business.
RESA members are protesting proposed policy guidelines on land development, which they say were published in the local newspapers without involving key stakeholders in the sector. The Planning and Urbanization Committee, led by its chair, Wambiri Ngatha, acknowledged receipt of the petition, saying it will engage further to ensure a balanced approach that protects residents and encourage investments.
We should work together with the committee so that we make good laws that will be favorable to you people as developers, and also good for the executive also, because we have to serve the Wanjiko.
The developers say the proposed zoning regulations threaten to cripple the real estate sector, citing delays in approvals, with some taking up to 2 years, affecting land subdivision and construction timelines.
And every office should be empowered to issue approvals. We should not be looking as developers left, right and center. Every day you are looking for the CEC to give you an approval. And we have technical consultants that have been employed by this government.
Githiga Ward MCA Ruth Waithera accused the developers of bypassing public participation forums and scamming residents through questionable land transactions, with RESA representatives insisting that they are ready for structured engagements but want fairness and efficiency in service delivery.
Most of the real estate developers are very greedy. Hata mtu ataenda, when a subdivision is 0.050, to make it a 50 by 100, they will do 0.040 and still assume it's a 50 by 100, so that you can get the small points and add them together and sell and make money. So let's also be very realistic to our people, because that's the reason why you see us enforcing some of these laws.
As the stalemate persists, both sides agreed on the need for transparency, accountability, and a policy that balances growth with regulation. Wairi Mujenga for Lunchtime News.
Focus on matters sports. Cabra's Sugar flanker Patrick Sabatia will be making his debut in the African Rugby Cup in Uganda starting the 8th to the 19th of this month. This is after he was named in the 28-man squad of the national men's 15s team, Kenya Simbas, alongside 3 foreign-based players who are also included to represent Kenya.
It will be a do or die for Kenya Simbas, who are yet to qualify for the Rugby World Cup. The Simbas will be seeking to orchestrate their performance in the Africa Cup, which doubles up as qualifiers for the 2027 World Cup, which will be hosted by Australia. On Tuesday morning, Kenya Simbas team manager Jimmy Munene unveiled a team of 28 players who will represent Kenya in the continental showpiece.
In the field of sports, there are no miracles. We just have to do it. There's no two-way. If we want to go to the World Cup, and we are going to the World Cup, we have to win all the 3 games. We have to be champions of Africa for us to qualify for the World Cup, and I think that's a goal for the team. And that's one of the things that we set down in South Africa to achieve. So every game, the importance it deserves. We start with Uganda, focus on one game at a time, even as we look at what is ahead.
The players include newcomer Patrick Sabatia of Cabra's Sugar and his counterpart George Nyambua. Others include Kenya Sevens trio John Okoth, Samuel Asati and Brian Tanga.
And make sure that their welfare is well catered for. And here we really want to thank our partners who have worked with us in this journey to make sure that our players are well catered for in terms of their allowances and what we owe them.
Meanwhile, Munene named 3 foreign-based players in the squad, David Bunduki and Thomas Okeyo of Novalvit Griffons in South Africa and Bethuel Amani based in France.
I believe the preparation in South Africa has been one of the best I've had in quite some time. And having played the matches 3 to 4 days after each match, that's the format that will be played in Uganda. That's what we've been trying to emulate. And I believe that that's good for us. And
Kenya will open the campaign with a match between host Uganda. The winner of the tourney will secure a ticket to the World Cup. Frederick Moki for Lunchtime News.
All the best to our boys. Further afield, two-time defending champion Carlos Alcaraz took out the 2015 Australian Open winner Fabio Fognini in 5-set trailing showdown of power and precision at the All England Club for the first round of the tennis Wimbledon Championship. Alcaraz, who claimed his 5th Grand Slam title at the French Open earlier this month, secured a 7-5, 6-7, 7-5, 2-6, 6-1 sets victory in a hard-fought battle that saw Fabio bidding farewell to the Wimbledon on the next round. The 22-year-old is set to face British Oliver Tavet, who gets a shot at one of sports superstars after beating Switzerland Leandro Riera, who on his Wimbledon debut. On another match, British number 1 Emma Raducanu took out 17-year-old Mimi Zhu, who was making her maiden Grand Slam appearance with a 6-3, 6-3 win.
It's wide. He takes number 4.
Striking. Game that goes wide, and with it the set, Raducanu.
Finally, defending champions Manchester City were knocked out of the Club World Cup at the last 16 stage after being stunned in extra time by Saudi Arabia side Al Hilal 4-3 in an incredible 7-goal thriller last night at the Camping World Stadium. Meanwhile, on the other side of the United States, Brazilian club Fluminense shocked Italy's Inter Milan with a 2-0 win to reach the quarterfinal of the Club World Cup, where they will face Manchester City's conquerors Al Hilal.
Beautiful, slips it for 8 Nouri, and it's shuffled. Supported by Joao Cancelo. Edison tried to shift it, back in from Malcolm, and into the inside his own half. Malcolm for Al Hilal!
Well, on that sporting note, we come to the end of KBC Lunchtime News this first day of July 2025. Many thanks indeed for joining me, and together with my colleague. Earlier on, we had Susan Thuku. Now we have Anne Wangeshi, who is handling the sign language interpretation. My name is Bentro Njue. Do have yourself a blessed afternoon ahead and new month.
House, Nairobi, Kenya. This is KBC English Service.
Welcome to Beat Time Show, the very best of the 80s and 90s. Me, John Korani, JK.
Timeless music hits across the decades.
This is the place to be after you've had a tough day. Here we celebrate love and life.
Don't believe me, just watch. The sound of KBC English Service.
I'm your host Caroline Wangishi, Carol Gatata Moshero.
My name is Geoffrey Mongai. News, information and entertainment. KBC English Service, Kenya's official national radio.
It's Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Morocco.
Feel the pulse of a continent, where Africa's fiercest women warriors clash for glory in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations 2024. Africa's top teams, one crown. Morocco hosts once more, ready to etch new legends into history. Rising stars, one stage to shine.
And it is the Copper Queen. They have been waiting for this moment. Here's a chance for a second. South Africa lead by 2-0 in this final, and he'll never higher.
This is more than football, it's African excellence. It's women's power. Don't miss WAFCON 2024, live from Morocco.
What's up? Howdy. It is that time of the week where we get to let you know everything that has been happening in the world of entertainment. And specifically when we talk about matters events, we get to let you know the events that went down over the weekend, as well as let you in on some of your favorite musicians right here from the 254 and Africa in general. You definitely do not want to miss any beat of the show. So sit tight and let's get this show on the road. My name is Vivian Degwa, or you can simply just call me Miss V, and you know what this right here is, Grapevine.
What you gotta do.
Let's start off the show with a literature event. Now, it was more than just a literal event. It was more of a festival of ideas. That is none other than Nairobi Lit Festival. Now, this is a festival that happens annually, and it gets to bring together writers, readers, artists, and just lovers of literature. Let's see how that went down this year.
In the heart of Nairobi, where libraries are being reborn as sanctuaries of knowledge and culture, a new kind of festival is taking roots. Nairobi Litfest, also known as NBO Litfest, is more than a literary event. It's a festival of ideas.
So the NBO Litfest is a gathering of writers, thinkers, artists, poets, all sorts of people involved in the creative industries. And the main kind of distinguishing thing about this festival is that it is anchored in public libraries. So we take all this programming and we put it in public libraries to be accessible to everyone. It was also free.
Launched in 2021 by Book Bank, the festival transforms public libraries like Kaloleni and Eastlands into spaces of bold expression, radical imagination, and deep community engagement.
Celebrate local stories, celebrate stories that see the people in that space.
It's really important for community, first of all for preservation, like preserving our culture, and then to keep it going, like to keep our stories alive, they have to be told. So I think it's really important.
I feel it's really, really key and extremely important to give this kind of knowledge to kids, especially when it comes to books, because I feel books really help build a child's mind and develop a child's mind more than anything, really.
Each year, it gathers writers, artists, and thinkers from across Africa and the world to ask hard questions, tell necessary stories, and explore the power of protest, poetry, and possibility.
Well, it's culture. It's culture, and it's social. You come the festival, you meet lots of people that you might admire that you would never get to meet.
These literary festivals are an amazing opportunity at two levels. One, for artists themselves to meet, but also for audiences to meet artists, because in that audience you'll find there's a potential artist, somebody who's always wanted to write, to sing, but they just need to meet an artist to get the courage to do what is in them. So it's a wonderful networking opportunity, but it's also a seed that gives birth to new cultural productions.
From panel discussions and master classes to performances and podcast recordings, Nairobi Litfest is where literature meets activism, where stories shape futures. With its partnership with the Global Haze Festival, Nairobi Litfest continues to grow, amplifying African voices and challenging the status quo. In 2025, the festival returned with a bold new theme, exploring alternative knowledge systems, inviting us to rethink history, power, and identity outside the mainstream. This is Nairobi Litfest, a literary movement born in the stacks, rooted in community and rewriting what a festival can be.
The atmosphere at this festival is so high energy, it's contagious. The kids are excited, they're making the authors excited.
So the atmosphere at this Litfest has been lit.
Ukiingia Twitter, automatically utafollow wasi wa Kenya. Kenya on Twitter ndio mafast body na wanaongea language gani? Wanaongea Shen. Wanaongea language yenye mimi na wewe tuna understand. So ikafika place yenye tunaweza talk conversation Twitter na tulete places kama hapa. Like tunaongea language yetu na tunasema stories zetu na language yetu, it sounds so sweet unlike we tell in our foreign language.
I have had such a wonderful time. I'm just so grateful that the Book Bank have created such a space.
I hope that you got to enjoy that. Now, today's show seems like part one of it is all about literature, and we love it because they're doing it with a twist. Allow me to let you in on the book that is After 4:30. This is a book that was written back in the 70s. That is exactly 51 years ago. And this time round, they were doing it differently as they got to launch the third edition version of the book. They did an adaptation of it, so it was being played on stage as we got to sit back and watch it. The book is more on the plight of women and the things that women used to go through, and unfortunately, the things that were happening back in the 70s is exactly what women are still experiencing to date. Let's check that out.
Lily, you're such a beauty. A woman is a flower created to be looked.
My name is Mwaneki Jashe. I am a film, stage director, screenwriter, and producer also.
I'm a lonely man. Let us be friends.
Stay in silence so you can say words to your wife.
After 4:30, it's an adaptation by a book that was written in 1974 by David G. Milo. At the time that the book was written, it was really slandered. It was also looked down upon like not literature. So a lot of people kind of dismissed Milo as a serious literature writer. And so, even though the book was a bestseller, it sold all over East Africa, even a bit of South Africa, but it didn't get the attention that I think other books did get. And then reviving, now doing this show, adapting the play to this show opened up my mind to very, 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 very many things. The things that Milo was talking about in 1974 are still present with us.
My perfect husband. Why do you want to touch on your faults?
Because you don't listen. You don't listen. You go on rambling with your automatic mouth down without a stop, without thinking.
Because you never listen to me yourself. You never care for me. You never think anyone's better than me.
Putting the show on stage was quite a challenge. It's a book, and to think of it as a play took me a bit of time. But then when I realized that he was talking about women, then I dug deeper into the book and found sections that made an arc. And I found that he spoke about the single woman and the problems that single women were going through in 1974, which are no different from what they are going through in 2025. He spoke about single mothers, spoke about the problems that they were going through. Same thing that he wrote about in 74, still very rife even now. Then he wrote about the married woman. And that is the sad part of what he wrote, because it's like a hopelessness. In fact, one of the characters says that marriage is a prison in which the man is everything. At the same time, the woman who is married said she cannot come out of the marriage because when she loves, she loves. And she despairs that the man is out there philandering. So for me, it speaks about all these problems that have beset our women and are still besetting our women to date. I think Milo had the sensitivity to see in our society something that was wrong. And maybe had we taken that book seriously then, we could have avoided what is happening now, where almost every other day you read in the papers there's a girl who has been killed or raped, or, all these negative and terrible things that you hear that men are doing.
Make them feel ashamed. Men are only kind to you when they want something from you. Mark you. That is the best time to make them sweat in the face. Please, please, tell me how to manage my salary so that I can feed my children, clothe them, give them milk, pay my electricity, my soap.
My job as an actor is to be a vessel. So it's to now see how to really now play this guy with as much truth, because as much as it was written back then, he still exists now. So I have to bring it as authentically so that whoever it is who's seated in the audience and might have made some choices close to this guy might hopefully see themselves in there. Or maybe guys who are married, who are sitting next to each other and they see each other there. Hopefully, from an outside perspective, you could go, oh, snap, is that what I'm doing to you? And maybe bring some mending or other.
Do you expect what I say in my reactions to these points? You're the type of man that must be told this bluntly, I do not love you. Do you hear that?
Yeah. Oh, what about the secret smile underneath those smiles?
It's giving I relate, and it's giving that there are things that will never change. And for me, it only gives me peace as a woman that now there are things I'll need to live with them. Even in the next 50 years, women might go through the same thing I as a woman am going right now, and I just have to make peace with that.
I think this is an empowering book for both men and women and children. You may, if you go deep into the themes, it's really